The tragedy of the commons is one of the biggest obstacles an economy faces in its effort to efficiently allocate resources. For the uninitiated, the tragedy of the commons is a situation in a shared resource system where individual users, acting independently according to their self-interest, behave contrary to the common good of all users by depleting or spoiling the shared resource through their collective action. The theory originated in an essay written in 1833 by the British economist William Foster Lloyd, who used the hypothetical example of the effects of unregulated grazing on common land in Great Britain and Ireland. The gist of that example is the ranchers of the community benefit from having their cattle graze in the public pasture but do not pay a cost to do so. This incentivizes them to compete to graze as many cattle as possible for as long as possible, which leads to overgrazing, which reduces future productive capacity of the common land. So the conflict here is the long-term objectives of the community do not align with the short-term incentives of individuals within that community. A popular way to address that disconnect is through capitalism. Rather than having a public pasture, the grazing land is purchased by a private entity. That private entity can create restrictions on the use of the land and charge rent to ranchers who want to use it. With the additional cost of rent, ranchers will not graze their cows as frequently, and overgrazing is averted. When the owner is entitled to the productive capacity of the land, they are incentivized to use that land efficiently so as to grow that productive capacity. With this switch, compensation is determined by how much value can be created by the land rather than how much value can be extracted from it. All of this is possible because property rights protect the owners from having to compete with the other ranchers. A system being better than an alternative does not necessarily make it a good system, though. Private ownership of the means of production does not eliminate the competition of the tragedy of the commons problem. It changes it from a battle between ranchers over who gets to use the resource to a battle between workers and owners over how to distribute the profits of that resource, which comes with a whole new set of problems. By better aligning individual incentives with community objectives, capitalist systems have worked wonders over the years to drive up productivity and prosperity. However, just because capitalist systems have been useful for solving certain problems in the past does not mean that they will be the best way to solve our present problems or our future problems. After all, different problems require different solutions.